All right. So yeah, picking up on this idea of what you're really good at and why why so many of us don't know what we're really good at because perhaps it's because our weaknesses stand out more. Perhaps we just don't know ourselves all that well. For whatever reason, we've got these blinders on. And I work in the space of self-discovery and self-knowledge and helping people figure these things out. I realized over the weekend that there was something that I was completely unaware of that's kind of a big deal for me. So I was at a retreat over the weekend with a bunch of other coaches as part of this um, mastermind inner circle program. And in one of the workshops, I got the chance to work with a highly intuitive coach who basically helps people really understand who they are and on a deeper level what their soul's purpose is. So it's pretty powerful stuff. And she looked into my eyes and she asked me, so what are you all about? How do you see yourself showing up in the world? And I gave her a response, and she just looks at me and she goes, "That's not it. Try again."
Okay.
And so anyway, she ended up telling me, Adam, your gift is your own self confidence and your ability to imbue that in others. And I looked at her kind of puzzled. And I was like, I don't know how that could be because sometimes I feel very unself confident. Sometimes that's something that I really struggle with. And
Mhm.
she just said that that's kind of part of how this works for me. It puts me in a position to really help people who
Yeah.
struggle with self-confidence because I can see both sides of it. Uh,
Right.
and it hit me because I've been noticing this happen with all of my clients. It's been like a really nice unintended consequence of the work that I do with them,
Mm.
where people naturally become much more confident. And
Mm.
I didn't realize that the role that I was having in that, because apparently this is one of my superpowers, and I haven't been aware of it this entire time. So
Well, you must have been partially aware of it because you decided to wrap your career around it and like make it your life's work. So some part of you must have known.
some part of me knew. I guess I wasn't really explicit about it. So now I'm clear on that, and man, this has become really helpful for me in understanding how to leverage this talent even more. What about you?
Mm.
Are there any superpowers that you weren't aware of and then became aware of through over time or talking to somebody or anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like the superpowers that I've gained over the years have been ones that I've kind of clawed for. I don't feel like I discovered anything that was naturally there. There were things that I realized I wanted to get better at and I wanted to be good at. And so, when I was younger, I was not very social. I was not very. I don't think I was very introspective. Self-critical would have been probably much more where you describe me,
That
which
was
is
your superpower. As being
yeah,
self-critical.
exactly. It
Oh
was. Well, I
no.
mean, all the time. And and it's actually was useful, up to a point because it is useful to be self-critical to know what areas of your life are not going right, so you can address them. But the addressing them part is the important part. And so what I realized, I think the superpower that I've gained over the years is that if I find myself to be lacking in some area, if I find a super weakness, um, I don't shy away from those. Like I address them head on. If I notice there's something that I'm doing that's making my experience of life worse or is holding me back in whatever domain I want to be succeeding in, I dive right on it, and it's tough every time. So, it's always scary to like look up and say, oh my God, like, I can't look people in the eye and talk to them because I'm too nervous, I'm too shy, or like I can't stand up for myself because I don't have whatever that thing is that people have, right? You assume that it's some thing that is not available to you. So, after years of having that, growing up, I started really, doing a lot of work on myself to like figure out how to be able to face those things when they show up and not wait and let them kind of drag your life down. So it's important. I think that's one of the reasons why I decided to start my courses because having done that, I used to forget that other people hadn't done that same thing. And I recognize fully how those bad emotions, those like negative ways of viewing your own life, can drag you down paths you don't want to go in and just make things worse. And that's it's tragic that that happens so much. So hopefully we can do a little bit to reverse that trend.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good point. You know, sometimes sometimes there are going to be things that we're not good at, right? And we're going to have to work on those things. And back to the basketball analogy, um, you know, LeBron James was never a great jump shooter. He was great at dunking the ball, but he knew that if he wanted to win championships, he's going to have to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, back to practice making perfect. Through practice, he got a lot better at his jump shot, now to the point where he's sinking shots just like Steph Curry. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you do have to go through a process, and I think, you know, Kemet's program is such a good way to kind of develop some of these skills and talents through my own program. This is an area where we're going to look at, you know, the deficiencies in how you're interviewing, for example, or networking is often a big weakness. So yeah, we don't
Mm-hmm.
want to forget about the value in developing areas that you aren't fully confident just yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we should do a whole video on networking sometime because I think that's another big topic that people struggle with that is not as hard as it seems. I think people look at that in a weird way. I'd love to do a video with you on it.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you have it, guys. Sneak preview of our next video on the topic of networking. This is going to conclude the 5-part series on confidence. Hope this was interesting to you guys. And when you're ready to get a little bit more tactical, tune in for the next segment on networking.
Been a pleasure.